Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Fashion Sewing Live with me, Meg. Excuse me, I'm just on these tail end days of a cold, so if I need to cough or blow my nose, just please bear with me. But feeling definitely a lot better than I was last week, and it's almost the holidays, so I want to just sew something like super cozy. This is like all I am living in now, especially since I'm pregnant. All I want to wear is sweatpants and pajamas and sweaters and leggings. So I thought that I would sew up something that's just really fun, comfy, and cute. And this pattern that I'm using is actually a free download, and it's the Mood Fabrics Hickory Ensemble. It's a unisex pattern. It's a raglan sweater and a nice pair of sweatpants with pockets, and it has ribbing. So I'm just going to stitch that up for you today, and I'm going to do some modifications too. You see on my cutting table, I have just the front cut up and it's folded over to the wrong side, but I added some embroidery, and I'm also going to add a pocket as well. So I'll show you how to do that. Oh, hi Esther, thanks for joining. So let's just get started. Sorry, I'm a bit late. It's a whirlwind. I had some machine issues. My needle wasn't quite staying in. So I, basically, it was up till about 10 minutes to the top of the hour, and I threw on some makeup. So just kind of put myself together, and let's start sewing. So I'm going to hop over to the table and start my first steps here. So just going to make sure before I get too involved, I'm not muted. Everyone can hear me. I'm live. So we're all good. All right. Okay, so this is the front of the pattern that I cut out. So since it has that raglan shape, I mean, this pattern could like really be screaming for some contrast sleeves, but I just picked up a bunch of this like sweater, like sweatshirt with a fleece backing. I just bought the rest of the bolt at the fabric store, so I had enough to cut, everything. But I wanted to bring in some other colors, and that's where embroidery really comes in play. And I love these little mushrooms. I love mushroom motifs and embroideries and prints, and this is part of our CME, Creative Machine Embroidery Mystic Vibes collection. It's the mushroom one. So I did some like pink, and of course I have to bring in some green, so I did some green polka dots. So I just kind of added that to the breast of my sweater. But I like having pockets in my sweatshirts, and this one doesn't have a pocket. You can draft your own shape. You could take a hoodie that you like the pocket placement and shaping of and just trace around it. But what I like to do is just utilize patterns that are already in my library. So I had this Rudy pattern from Seamwork, and I just went into the pattern PDF. I didn't have it printed out, but I had it on my computer, and I just went through and printed out the pieces that I needed to cut out a pocket. So I'm just going to quickly tile them here. And how I tile patterns, I never cut and trim. I always overlap. And it's because I have a light colored cutting mat. It's really easy for me to see through the pages. So I'm just going to quickly tile these together. But definitely like things like pockets and even collar shapes and different details, definitely mix and match your sewing patterns. Take a piece or a component from another pattern you have and add it to one. I love doing that. So I'm just going to cut out the larger size here with my paper rotary cutter. And I haven't cut it out yet, so I'm just going to quickly cut that out. My fabric, this could be a great contrasting fabric too. So that's going to be kind of my first sewing step. is to actually stitch this pocket on the front. Then my recycling bin. So I'm going to try to sew the top and the bottoms. Just to show you how like simple these types of styles and patterns can come together. You can whip it up. This could make a really fabulous gift for like a teenage, like these are so popular right now, especially if you add some like modern or on-trend embroidery, like so cute. And these like really fun colors, this bubblegum pink. It was really hard for me not to get green, but sometimes you need to switch it up. So I'm just gonna, my fabric stretches more that way than this way. So I need to make sure I'm cutting with the direction of greatest stretch going across the pocket. So I'm just gonna put in some pins. Okay. Take my rotary cutter. I just installed a new blade, and I don't know about you, but there is nothing more satisfactory or satisfying. It's definitely not just satisfactory than cutting with a brand new blade. It's just like, oh, so good. Put in my scrap bin. Pull around these edges. There we go. Okay, here we go. Got my pocket. I still have some left over to make something matching. I'm just checking in. Hi, Leslie. Oh, happy holidays from Vancouver. Yes, happy holidays for, I hear you're getting some weather and snow over on the West Coast. We're expecting a storm coming in later today and tomorrow. So this is perfect to cozy up in. So now I'm going to take my cutting mat away because I've learned from experience, if I use my pressing mat on my cutting mat, it ripples. So I take it off before I use my pressing pad. I have my iron here. Let's just position that so I can easy access. So first I am going to, and I'm just gonna put this to like a medium low heat, my iron. I might just, yeah, and then I can just keep this pattern piece with the with the pattern. And I'm just gonna notch this bottom here to kind of help me match it up with the center of my sweatshirt. So the first step in this one, I am going to press these allowances to the wrong side, and I'm going to top stitch. So, and you can kind of let this like kind of shape, you can let that guide you a bit on how much to fold, but it looks like about 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to lightly press that. And here, like, you need to make the decision at this first step, what type of stretch top stitch that you want on your entire kind of ensemble. I don't like mixing and matching top stitches. I'm either going to go zigzag, tween needle, kind of a cover stitch-esque stitch. I don't know. Should I do twin needle? Maybe I should. That means I'll have to switch needles a lot, but you know what? Let's do a twin needle. So I'm going to install a twin needle in my machine. Okay, so I'm just going to take that. And of course, since this is live, I didn't I thought I was going to do zigzag. Then last minute, I decided twin needle. So now I'm going to have to change my needle. That's okay. Leslie says, yes, -11. Oh, yeah, unusual for Vancouver. We have 30 centimeters of snow. Wow. Snow, snow. At least, well, you can argue a nice white Christmas is always beautiful, but yeah, that's one thing about our first, this will be our second winter in our house, but in the city, we never had to shovel. Now we have like a full driveway, and shoveling is just, you know, a whole other thing to do. All right, so now I need to install my twin needle, and something I didn't realize until even just like a couple years ago, all my years of sewing, that twin needles come in different widths. So I'm going to be using a 390 width, because I like that wider width because it gives it that look of a cover stitch machine. You can kind of see it in this camera here. It's a bit wide. And then in this pack, this is a Schmetz pack, has 3 different widths. So you can even see the difference of these two right here, where it's against the background. Like that. I just thought that was one, like, I guess I didn't realize that until I started working more with these brands, that there's different widths of twin needles, which is so cool. So I'm going to use the wider one. And let's hope I don't get some, I think I just wasn't pushing it up far enough. You know, totally user error there. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a second spool, and I'm going to use white thread. Because I have white ribbing on all of my trims, like my cuffs and stuff. So again, embroidery is really great about bringing in different fabrics together. So I knew I didn't have matching pink trim, so I just go contrast. And so I brought in a white thread color to my mushroom embroidery, so it kind of brings everything together. So I love embroidery for that. All right, so I'm installing my second thread here. Okay, let's install my needle. Okay, maybe I wasn't even, like, you know how there's like a flat end and a round end? I think I was like flipping it around. There we go. Oh yeah. Sometimes my hands get all sweaty and I can't grip the screwdriver enough to like tighten it. Leslie, yeah, I like, yeah, the wider twin is definitely my favorite. Okay, that's nice and secure. Okay, so this needle, and you can't use the automatic spreader for this. So get my tweezers. There's a lot of user errors today. There we go. It's okay. Okay, and then I just thread the second one just as I do the first. So right along all of those lines, and then I just thread it through the other one. Put them under the foot. All right. What is everybody sewing? Anyone sewing anything for the holidays? Are you sewing your own gifts? What's everyone making this week? It's kind of, you know, that week leading up to the holiday, or next week is a good week for sewing too. It's just kind of, the holidays are over. Maybe make a New Year's Eve outfit. I'm going to a holiday party tomorrow night, and I got this black stretch velvet, and I'm making a turtleneck kind of form-fitting dress, but I'm extending the set, so I'm adding gathers around the stomach. So I need to make that tomorrow. The party's tomorrow, and I haven't started. But, you know, knits come together so quick. All right, so now I'm going to go into my machine, and I'm just going to select the twin needle setting. Usually a machine has just like a twin needle button or a setting or a stitch. So this one just has, I go into kind of temporary sewing settings. And I just click. Oh, no, maybe I can spin it over. You can't really see. A little bit. But my machine has the ability to actually select the width. So I go twin needle and it's set to off right now, and I just turn it on to 3. So my machine knows what width of twin needle I'm using. And oh yeah, I need to make sure. I was on a stretch stitch before, so my machine thinks I'm doing that, which I'm not. So I'm turning it to straight stitch. I like to put up the stitch length a bit to about 3. So let's go back to my machine. There we go. And I always like to, oh my gosh, I've wasted like 20 minutes just like, we can still do this. I'm just going to test it out on a scrap piece of fabric here. All right. Here. Oh, I love a twin needle. I don't use it enough, you know? I really don't. Like, look. Let's see, can that focus there? Like, oh, there we go. Look at that. Come on, focus. There we go. Whoa. That's a beautiful stitch. All right. I'm glad. I just took the time to set up that twin needle, but you know, there it is. Pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to just stitch my pockets. So I'm just going to always work from the right side, and I do that anyway when I top stitch, always working with the right side up. So I'm just gonna twin. And although like all the edges are finished off with ribbing, I'm still gonna use the twin needle to stitch those allowances flat. I like to do that for knit fabrics. So I'm just going to. And another little thing I like to do with twin needles, like my machine has an automatic thread cutter, but I find the threads get really tangled, the 3 of them. So I never use the automatic thread cutter. I find if I just lift the presser foot, they stay nice and straight. So just something with my machine. Oh, that looks so good and professional. I know, I find like I have my cover stitch machine. I find I'm setting it up less and less. Like if I'm doing like a bulk legging sew, or if I'm making like, you know, a swimsuit capsule, I'll bring it out, but it's just like a whole other machine to set up. And a twin needle like really gives a similar, I mean, pretty much identical stitch look, especially with the wider ones. I'll show you. I'll do the automatic thread cutter. And it just, they get like, they twist up here a little bit, and they're just like more twisty, as you can see. Like they just get all twisty. So I just wanted to show you that. So now I have to untwist them, but that's okay. Now I'll have to rethread them because I like when they're nice and straight here. So as if you didn't believe me, and I had to show you that they indeed do get twisty. Okay, now I'm just gonna like rethread them. So this one. There we go. So now I'm actually gonna top stitch the pocket to my front sweatshirt with the twin needle as well. Threading it back up. There we go. There we go. Nice and straight. Okay, cool. Now, put my shoes back on because I kick them off. I'm sewing. Go. Okay. So here we are. We have our pocket. This looks so good. And I mean, I was looking at the Broody pattern instructions for this pocket, and they actually finish and top stitch the bottom, but I'm going to catch the bottom in that like bottom ribbing down there. So I'm not going to worry about finishing that. So I'm just going to press in these side edges. And as well as that top edge too. So now I'm going to take my front, and I've already notched this bottom here. So I can easily just align these two notches along the hem. And I find for things with like ribbing bands and hem bands, having those center notches is so key. So I just do them right before I take off the pattern. And then I'm just going to fold these. There we go. Added a cute little pocket to our Hickory Ensemble. Like, look at how cute this already looks. I'm obsessed with this mushroom embroidery. And just for size reference, I cut the size 16, 18. So I like sized up because I like my sweaters and sweatpants big, and I'm only getting bigger. So just be nice and comfy. Okay. Now I'm just going to go around and just top stitch. And then I can remove my twin needle because I'm going to need the regular needle to just do the stretch stitch to sew all the seams. Okay. I might do some bar tacks at the pocket openings as well because they're a point of high stress and to kind of hide the back stitch of the twin needle. I closed my email browser, so I'm getting some email dings. There we go. They're coming apart. Okay, let's do this top. That looks so good. I love the twin needle. I'm glad I made the decision to do this stitch with it. Oh, there we go. Oh, that looks so good. Ah, look how good that looks. Okay, one second. I'm going to close my Outlook so I'm not reminded how many emails I need to answer once I'm done. So I just want to enjoy my sewing. Okay. Oh, that looks so good. Look at how cute that looks. So cute. The little pocket. Okay. So now I'm ready to start assembling the top. Oh, that looks really good. And this could be a good opportunity for embroidery too, if you want to pre-embroider pocket before you put it on. So I'm gonna grab, I have a lot of pattern pieces here. So this is all for the pants. The sleeve. So I'll just need the sleeve and the back. So I'm going to take, oh, that's the sleeve. I'm going to take the back because these pattern instructions have you sew the side seams and then the raglan sleeve in like a U shape. I mean, you could do it the other way, but I'm going to do it that way as well. So as simple as right sides together, and let's just pin side seams together. And I like to do as much pinning as possible before I go to my machine. So I'm also going to pin my sleeve seam right sides together. So there we go. And then the sleeve kind of gets sewn in this round. So side seam sewn. I'm going to put that there. And then take my sleeve and make sure my notch. And what I do is, where's the back? So this one, I've been so many years sewing with Berta. And they only have a front notch, so my brain just, if I'm even thinking about it or not, always assumes the front is the one with the notch. So I only clip into the front and I ignore back notches. It's just what I do. So I'm going to make sure I do that. Oh, and this is an important notch too at this is the shoulder point. This helps us with that neckband, so make sure to get that notch. I was really thinking of cutting my sleeves in the ribbing, but it's not as cozy. This fabric is like fleece backed, and I like my sleeves to be nice and cozy. Okay, so then I'm just going to open each one and then going to fold each one right sides together. I'm just going to put one pin in just so I know that those go together. And then the other. All right, let's get sewing. Okay, so now I can take out, oh dear. No, oh, okay. I was like, I don't remember where I put my stretch needle. I'll need the twin needle again, so I'll put it not too far away. And then I can, I can just unthread one of them. I'm going to keep it there. Mine has two thread holders, so I'm going to keep it there because I'm going to need it when I top stitch all of my band seam allowances down. So I'm just going to hands are, I can't quite, I feel like it's tight, but it's still coming out a bit. I think my hands just get kind of sweaty. That's weird, okay. Sometimes I have like extra lights on when I do these, so it kind of gets a little hot in my studio. This is what happened to me before, where the needle just kind of wasn't I think I have the screw on a bit of an angle, so it doesn't go like straight in. So I just need to fix this. This is what live sewing is all about. Things happen. I might need to even like grease up my needle a little bit too, or I might need a bigger screwdriver. Yeah, that's not quite staying. Oh, okay. Sorry, folks. Just knew I shouldn't have switched that twin needle when I already had the needle nicely installed. I think I have. Yeah, this one's isn't it so funny as sewists we get like toolkits with like screwdrivers and, you know, things like that. I think I just need to get it. There we go. I just needed a wider screwdriver. Sometimes it's just those little things. Okay, so let's thread this. Ooh. Oh, yeah. And very important step, turn off the twin needle. Off. There we go. There we go. Okay. And this pattern, I believe, is 1/2 inch of seam allowance. So that's what I'm going to be stitching at. So it is just not my day today. The fabric got stuck in this. Sometimes when I start too close to the edge, it gets stuck. Yep, no time for these things to get edited out like usual. There we go. You could definitely use a serger for these seams as well. So this is my sleeve. Then again, this is to show you that you can sew up like a whole knit outfit with ribbing and twin needle without any like special machines, just your regular machine. Okay, sleeves are done. I can get them ready for pinning. Okay. Now I'm just gonna quickly stitch up the side seams, 1/2 inch. Oh, looks like we got stuck again. You know when you make that decision, like, do I just keep shoving it through or do I take it out? I think I made it through this one. Oh, I did. Look at that. And other side seam. Okay, so now it's time to pin the sleeves on. And I was poking around in my studio for some piping. I thought I had some, but actually in this seam, like here, would be so perfect to add piping to, but I didn't have any, so I didn't put any in. And what I'm going to do, since I'm not using a serger, I'm just going to lightly press my seam allowances open. And this, like a sleeve roll, is one of my most highly used. I don't need it quite for the side seams, but for the sleeves, I'll need it. It's definitely my most used pressing tool. Just like a super light press. Just like a little light press. You just kind of see it. Kind of flattens out those ripples and just makes it laying flat since it's not a serge seam. So it's not laying one way or the other. You can press knits, just make sure it's just not too hot. And now you can even use a little bit of steam. This is a stable knit. It's not like a stretch knit. So these you can definitely use some heat on. So I'm just going to go like that, and then I insert this. Okay. I don't think I'll need that again. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip this right side out. So we have the front, and I'm gonna flip both sleeves right side out as well. And then I'm just going to kind of position them like this. And so I can easily take my sleeve seam and I can match up the notch. So as I said, I just put notches in the front so I know that this sleeve goes to this side. So the first pin I'm going to put in place is matching the sleeve seam with that side seam. Then I am going to pin up to the front neckline. And then I work my way back to the middle and then take the other sleeve and pin it up to the back neckline. Like so. And then I just repeat for my other seam. Oh, I feel like I have to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Oh, forgive me, sorry. 'Tis the season. live production here. So I'm just pinning those and going up the back is to the left this time. And then matching those front notches. So it's just like sewing like a U, where the bottom of the U is that side seam and sleeve seam intersection. Okay, so now I am going to sew those together. And you'll see here that point right there to the, on the sleeve. Oh, let me just angle this. Extends beyond. So we want to get right here is where we want those intersection to happen at our seam allowance. So you don't want to match up that top point with that, right? Because you can see that gap right here. That's our seam line. So that's like a 1/4 inch gap. So just make sure at your seam line that you have some fabric overlap. And of course, the machine just ate it. What I need to remember for this, I need to start a little bit. It pushes into my machine if I start right there. So I need to start here and then back stitch up and then keep going. As if this is my first seam that I've sewn in this garment. There we go. Coming up to my seam, so I just want to make sure that all of my allowances are remaining open. So right here, then I just like look underneath, make sure they're laying nice and flat, that the seams are matching up. And sometimes when I get to this point here, I lift my presser foot and then I just push. I should really not use my fingers. Push the allowance underneath. There we go. Actually, I have this too. I've started using like a tool like this to kind of help push fabric through, but I always forget I have it. Okay, there we go. So I'm probably not going to finish the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is, after I sew these sleeves on, I'm going to install the neckband, and then the hemband and sleeve cuffs are the exact same application. And then I'm going to sew one of the hip pockets on the pants, because that's kind of like the key detail. And then it's just basically sewing side seams and adding more cuffs and ribbing. So after I finish this and install the neckband, I'll move on to the pants. Hi, Jenny from New Zealand. Welcome. We are sewing some fun sweaters and sweatpants. All right, I'm just going to install my other sleeve. Okay, so we have our one sleeve here. Ta-da! And like, oh my gosh, I need to make another one where I'm doing some like contrasting sleeves, because I love a raglan seam line. So pretty and so easy, because I am not a fan of setting in sleeves. Although knit sleeves to set in are really not that big a deal, but still, I love a raglan. I do want to order some piping though. I think for my next version, I'm going to need to do some like contrast and then also add piping in there. Hands out of the way here. I'm just stitching up that other sleeve. Actually, this is like my favorite time of year to sew. It's just wintry out and you're just kind of cozied up to your sewing machine. I've been sewing a lot for the holidays. I've been making a ton of embroidered pillow covers. So to kind of, I had some spring ones, so I just kind of updated them with wintry designs. So that's been fun. I had a plan to make stockings. I have the fabric, the pattern cut out, and I haven't made them yet. Then again, our family's not doing any gifts this year, including stockings, so it's not like they're going to be filled anyway. I just like the look of them hanging in our living room. Yeah, our motto this year was everyone gets the gift of no gift. So I didn't wrap one present this year. Next year will be different. We'll have the little one, and it will be his first Christmas. So it'll be more exciting. And also, I know I'm going to be sewing a lot for him next Christmas. Okay, I'm almost done. This last sleeve seam for the top. There we go. Okay, so let's install the neckband, and then we'll move on to the pants. Oh, so cute. Look at that. Oh, this is so, it's so cute. Oh no, here we go. Okay, so here we have our front sweater. Did I catch something there? What is that? Uh-oh. Oh well. You can't really, it's like I caught like a little knit thread there. Okay, so now let's install this neckband, and again, a hemband will be installed, as well as sleeve cuffs, and everything's labeled. These are all the cuff knit rib pattern pieces. So this is the pants waistband, so that's for the pants. Oh, what's this? That is the shirt collar, so that must be the neckband. And then we have the sleeve cuffs, and I think these are for shirt front waistband and shirt back waistband. Okay, so these are the sleeve cuffs, the neckband, and the front. Okay, so let me do the neckband. So what I'm going to do is first clip, there's two little notches on either side here. So I believe those match up with those mid-shoulder notches in the sleeves. So those are always good to have. And I'm going to also mark this center, because this will be the center front, like so. Okay, so now I am going to stitch. Yeah, that's the right side. So I am just going to stitch these. Actually, I don't even need to pin it. I'm just going to stitch these together. Paper pattern pieces all over my floor. There we go. So stitch these together. And then I am going to do some pressing. Oh, gee, I did not mean to slam those scissors down. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my pressing mat, and I am going to press. Actually, I'll use this. Press this allowance open. Little press. Zoom in a bit, and then what I like to do just to keep, make it just a little bit easier, this actually looks really small. Did I cut it right? Oh no, we're good. Yeah, no, we're good. Okay, I'm just thinking out loud. Then I'm going to press it wrong sides together. So just matching up. It just kind of gives that nice crisp look. So I'm just kind of going around, pressing it. It also just makes it a little bit easier to sew and control. So I have one seam and then 3 sets of notches for the top sleeve as well as the center back. Okay, so now I have there we go. So I have this right side up and out. What I'm going to do is I am going to take my neckband and I'm just going to put 4 pins in each quadrant. So I'm matching up that center front notch. And I'm going to scoot around to the back. And of course, I didn't cut the back. If you forget to cut it before you like take the pattern off, you can just what I do is I just like fold it and then I match the seams. And then I just find that midpoint and just do like a tiny little clipping like that. And I'm just making sure I'm like flipping it down too. So it's going, we want all those edges to be aligned. So now I'm going to put it. So I have my sweater kind of wrong side up facing me. Then I'm just going to take this, shift to the side, and I'm going to match. I actually think, let's see. Nope, there we go. Yeah, match these notches. Oh yeah, there we go. So match that center sleeve notch. I can't stress how important notches are in like a ribbing or a band application. Ta-da! And then pin that. So now we have, and like the ribbing is usually a smaller circumference than the opening to kind of, let it lay flat. So now we're gonna look like this and we're just gonna stitch around in a circle, slightly stretching the ribbing to match the neck opening circumference. And all the pattern pieces should be like this. So the sleeve cuffs, will be the same way. Jenny asks, on your sewing machine, is the walking foot attachment on? It is. So this is the integrated walking foot. So I can take it off and then on. And it only works with certain feet. And this again, I'm using the Husqvarna Viking Epic 95Q machine. And yeah, I love that. I love that feature. So I'm going to start at the back. And I'm going to be working, oh geez, no, sorry. Here we go. With the sweater side wrong side up. So I'm starting at that seam, matching my allowance. So I'm going to start right there. You are welcome, Jenny. Okay, so now I'm just going to work my way around. And you can also take off if you want to do it the other way, you can take off your arm too, but I'm just going to do it this way. I should have had my camera. Maybe here, I'm going to go a little bit higher and down. Maybe then you guys can see a little better. There we go. Okay. Going around, and I'm just kind of having this hand just kind of going forward and making sure those notches is like an even stretch. And when I get to a seam, I was going to say sleeve, but it is the sleeve seam, I'm going to just lay these allowances open just to reduce bulk. There we go. Trying to not have my hand in the way. Here we go. So I'm constantly with this hand kind of stretching it forward, making sure that my ribbing is stretching, and I'm coming across, and there's a pin on the underside. I'm going to take that out. Coming across to this. So I'm going to take this hand and just kind of then match up here, and then just kind of rotate around, and I just kind of position. There we go. And I'm going to lay this flat. Again, I don't like it bunching up, so I'm just going to, there we go. Coming along to the front. Now I'm just meeting that seam where I started. So I just sewed a big circle. And now I would, oh my gosh, I just realized my bobbin is a different color. I was sewing with like a tan before, and I just looked and I thought it was white, and it's slightly off-white, but that's okay. No one's gonna see. Oh, look at that. So beautiful neckband application here. So now I am going to work from the wrong side. I'm not going to do it now because I'm going to do all of my bands for my top and my bottom and then switch to my twin needle. And I am going to top stitch the allowance down on the sweater all around the neckline, the sleeves, the hem, anywhere that there's a ribbing attachment, because when it stretches, you can see it kind of flips up. So we want this to be nice and down. I might trim it a little bit too, so you can give it even a light press. But this looks like super cute. and professional. So I can't wait to add the sleeve seams. The sleeve cuffs will be the same thing. You just stitch that seam closed, turn it wrong side, stretch around, and the hem band for the front has 2 side seams. So there's a front, so you'll just match up the seams with the side seams here. And then our sweater is done, and then just like the top stitching. Super, super cute. And I love how that the white stitching and the mushrooms matches that nice white contrasting ribbing. So I'll set this aside and we'll just work on the pants for a bit, and then it's just like, it'll be just easy to do all the ribbing at once. So I'll just set this aside. Okay. Now, let's do the pants. Okay, so I have these all cut out, and I'm just going to grab the front pant for now. I love patterns that are like a 2-in-1. An Ensemble, it's in one PDF. Super great. So here we have the front, and we have the pocket kind of backing, so the pocket back, and then we also have the pocket kind of pouch. So what I'm going to do is first get this key notch right here and here, but I won't need the pocket backing right quite yet. So I'm going to unpin the pattern from the front pant. Oh no. My pin caught in my sweater. There we go. To the floor. All right, so let's just start with one. So I'll just grab one kind of right side up and over. And you can kind of see it more on the pattern than you can on like, so you kind of see this kind of jagged, it kind of goes like in a little bit. So that corresponds with this piece right here. And then the backing goes like that. So the full front piece, so this is kind of the pocket opening here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch this to this side edge right there. I kind of, as I was cutting it, I guess I kind of rounded that out, but there isn't a sharp turn for that pocket opening. So I'm going to unpin my pocket piece, and I want the one so it's right sides together. So this one will be for the other leg. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin here, and I might even just need, because it is kind of not a very noticeable angle, I'm going to just kind of take this. I can kind of see it here in the piece, but I'm going to do kind of more of a cross pin. So I'm going to stitch these right sides together to this bottom point right there. What stitch are you using, please, Jenny? I am using a stretch stitch, so it's not a zigzag stitch. It is the stretch stitch setting on my sewing machine. But if you don't have a stretch stitch, a narrow zigzag will work perfectly fine. And I go up a stitch length too, so I'm using a stitch length of 3.5. So now I'm just going to sew my pocket opening. That was a good question. Oh. Just stitch. And I'm going to stop at my cross reference. And there we go. now we have our pocket opening. This is our pocket opening. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press it lightly open because I want this edge to be crisp. So I'm just going to give that just a light press open. Because now this kind of folds back. And I'm just going to now press this seam. And you could top stitch this I almost said this seam, but I'm just going to leave it because I don't feel like switching to a needle for this little seam. But since, I mean, it's a pretty narrow opening, so you don't really need it. Okay. So there we have, this is our pocket opening. Like so. So now I'm going to take this backing piece and I'm going to unpin it. And I'm going to want the under layer. I want the right side up where this curve is to my left for this piece right here. The curve here going towards the front crotch curve. So this will be for the other leg. And I'm going to place it on and I'm going to match up. There's that top notch on the back, the pocket backing, and then there's a side notch. So this side notch corresponds to that kind of bottom of that angle that we stitched. So I'm going to take this and just put it, so that's a pocket right on here. And I'm going to just pin, oh, my magnet's so, you see that? It's I picked up my rotary cutter. My magnet was so strong. I like a pin dish with a strong magnet because oftentimes I throw it in the general direction of it and it sticks. So now I'm just gonna pin that right there and then kind of pin this to this kind of opening here. It's not as important, this pin, but I'm just going to hold that in place so you can see that opening. And then I'm going to take just my front pant leg and I'm just going to kind of shift it away so I can expose this seam right here. And then I can match up this bottom curve and stitch my pocket pouch pieces together. So like this. Da, da, da. So I'm going to pin and sew these right sides together along this curve. Hi, Kathy. So pretty. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thanks, Jenny. Love the pin dish. I think I just ordered it on Amazon. And I also have another one. I need two. I have another one. This is like called the Grab It. I have one beside my sewing machine as well. And then once this gets too full, I empty. So I like to have two pin cushions. I used to always wear one on my wrist, but I kind of stopped doing that. Because I think once I wasn't wearing it and I took a pin and I just stabbed it in my wrist just thinking I was wearing it. So I stopped wearing one. I never did that again. I also love magnetic ones because I'm an extremely clumsy, fumbly Butterfingers person. And I'm always dropping pins and I drop the pin and picking up pins with the magnetic dish is just so much easier. So I'm just kind of going around this curve. confidently sew the pants and the sweater in 2 hours. You could have both pieces done, which is it's pretty nice quick sew. So I have the pocket all sewn. Hi, Yvette. Thanks for joining. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my table. And I have my pocket pouch sewn. So I'm going to flip this back, and then I'm just going to baste this top edge together so it kind of acts as one. So all of these layers, and it will match up with that notch, will act as one. And then I'm also just going to, actually I think I'm just going to flip this to the wrong side, and I'm just going to clip. Oh my gosh, that's scary. Sorry. I looked out, I have a window into my backyard, and I saw someone, but it was my husband. He was in the shed, and it just scared me. I'm sorry. I thought so, because there's a gate and a road, and I thought someone came in. Anyways, so he's awake. So I'm going to clip right here where that end is. And then so when I flip it to the right side, I can kind of flip out these edges, and it will lay just a little bit more flat. There we go. Yes. And then this will get the seam, it'll just get caught right in that seam. There we go. So that's laying nice and flat. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my machine, and I'm going to baste in, not on my seam line, but like in between my seam allowance, so about 3/8 of an inch in, because my seam allowance is 1/2 inch, just along here and along there. Jenny, I'm the same with pins, dropping them, and yes, I have 2 pin cushions as well. Yes, 2 pin cushions is so key. Hi, Juanita. Hello from rainy Philadelphia. The Hickory Ensemble is too cute. Must add it to my list. Yes, it's a great pattern. It's very cute, and it's free. I like to, if when I'm doing these, I like to, if they're either a Sew Daily pattern or like a free resource on the internet, so you can download them for free and sew along with me. So I like to try out there's some great free pattern resources out there. Okay, so for the basting, I'm not going to do a stretch stitch. I'm just going to put it to a straight stitch and just like a 5 stitch length. Yeah, I'm in southwestern Ontario, so we're getting the rain from the Philly. Yeah, I know. We're getting that tonight. We're supposed to get that rain tonight. Okay, so now I'm just going to do a little back stitch here. And actually, yeah, I was going to say I could go and pivot there, but I'm just going to stop. There we go. So just like a nice basting holding stitch. And then same down here. I know, now I'm like, do I want to add embroidery to my pants too? Because now would be the time to do so. Before I like stitch the legs together. Or maybe I should just have the mushrooms on the top. I'll just keep it on the top. Threads all over me. There we go. Okay, so now I have my front pant complete, and I have a pocket. Pockets are so great in pants, and this is the view from the wrong side. So you're going to do the same thing to the other front leg, install that pocket, and then it's just as easy as constructing a pair of pants. So that's where I'm going to leave it today. We're coming up to try and keep my time limit like an hour and a half on these lives. But basically I showed you kind of the most integral steps, kind of adding this like hip pocket. So what I'm going to go and do now is do the other pocket and the other front pant leg. And then I'm going to sew the inseams together and the side seams together. So if I take the, zoom out a bit. If I take the back leg, I'll sew those together, and then I'll sew the crotch seam in like a U, same to that the sleeve application, and then I install ribbing with elastic on the waistband, and then there's no cuffs on these, so it's just an elastic casing on the bottom of these. And then I will just have a nice matching set. And once I install all my ribbing, all my bands for my the rest of my sweater and my sweatshirt, I'm going to do all my top stitching. So here's how my sweatshirt turned out, and I got definitely most of the sewing done. I just need to sew up the pant side seams, install the bands and cuffs and top stitch, and both of these pieces will be complete. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye and finish stitching this up, and make sure to head over to Sew Daily. Probably this won't go live until January, but I will take some pictures of me in this ensemble, and I'll take pictured steps of what I do off camera here so you can follow along. And thank you so much for joining me. This is my last Fashion Sewing Live of 2022. I will continue doing them next year until March because my due date is in April. So I will be busy with other things. So I'll take a couple months off, and then I'll be back to sew up some more stuff. And thank you so much. This has been so fun. I think this is my 11th Fashion Sewing Live. So I've done a lot of them throughout this year, and I look forward to it every month. And I love connecting with all of you. Thank you for your comments and questions. It's just like sewing with friends here. And I'm thankful for everyone. And I hope you all have a happy holiday season, and Happy New Year too. Bye, everyone.